Hello and welcome to another fans panel. We're here in one of the luxurious sponsors' lounges here at the Globe Arena. Ordinarily, of course, we would be outside watching a football game, but second week in succession we don't have one. This time it was frozen pitch. I think it's eased up a little bit, but probably the right decision to call it off yesterday. Dagenham preparing to travel up yesterday. That means we've had a couple of weeks off. Our next game, hopefully, if the weather's alright, will be at Bristol Rovers. Quite a lot's happened since we last had a fans panel. Most of it not great news on the pitch, but some interesting news off the pitch. Start with you. We'll introduce our panel tonight. We've got Matt Swindlehurst, of course, matchday announcer. We've got the chap who he took over from because he was much better than him, Steve Middlesbrough, at the end there, and Darren Clifford. Do you have a position within the supporters club?
Yeah, chair.
We call it chair, do we?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
chair of the what do you call the supporters club? The supporters club of
Fans
club of all. Yeah, we're here today. We'd all rather be watching a game, but we thought we'd do one of these. Been quite a while. Start for you, Darren. I think. There's been a break. We've had a run of quite poor form, particularly at home. Do you think that the break from playing will be a positive thing, or do you think we'd rather sort of got straight into it after the last poor performance?
I suspect Jim would have liked to have been playing the next day, to be honest. As most footballers do, they want to get back to it and sort things out. Although with a few little niggles and knocks and things, it's probably done us a bit of good. I know the lads have been training this morning on a bit of a light session, so it'll do them good, I think, and maybe a little break for reflection. It'll do good for us.
I mean, Steve, do you see it? The form has plummeted really since the early season games where we were flying top of the league. Can you sort of put your finger on any of that? Is there a reason why we were so good at the start of the season and we've slipped back a bit in recent weeks?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can almost pinpoint it to the Rotherham game. I think with going from 3-0 up to end up drawing 3-3. I think that was a bit of a shock to the system. I think at the start of the season, Jim had brought in some great characters, and that's what was needed because last year was too flat. I think that you needed characters on the pitch, and I don't think that was happening last year. You bring in Kevin Ellison, well, you've got enough character in Kev to keep it going, and I think people like that really makes a difference. When you lose people like that for injury, I think it deflates the team, no matter what level you're playing at, whether it's a Premier League team or a Sunday League team. If you lose your characters, you lose a bit of oomph and percentage of confidence, and it basically makes a difference to your team. And I also think we don't like heavy pitches, and we've had a few months of heavy pitches, and don't forget, a lot of sides, it's not just about what we do, it's about what other teams in the league have done. And we say, oh yeah, we've improved this, which I feel we have. I think we've got the best squad that we've ever had, but I do think that other teams have also made exceptionally good starts, so it's all relative.
I mean, I tell you what you say there. The one thing I would say to counter that maybe is that the teams that we've been playing against and losing against are probably not all the ones that you're talking about that have made improvements themselves. I mean, we lost at home to Northampton.
Yeah. All
right, you can kind of accept the Torquay one. They're a good side and they play good football, and we knew when we played down there that they were going to be a tough team. I mean, Mark, do you see? Is it something we should be worried about, the form that we've got at the moment, or do you see enough in the games, even when we've been losing, that gives you encouragement for the second half of the season?
I mean, it is an old cliche, isn't it? But it has been a season of two halves at the moment. We set off like a rocket, and I think the expectation levels just really hit the roof. And we hit that number one spot after the 6-0 demolition of Crawley. And that was the high point of the season. And we've seen some good sides here. We've seen some indifferent sides, but the one that sticks out for me was Wimbledon. They came here, and they're the best team I've seen here this season.
Yeah.
And look where they are.
Yeah, that's it.
And going back to your question, I think if somebody had said 14th at the beginning of the season, we'd have bitten their hands off. And I don't see us going down any further than that. I really don't. And who knows? I'm an eternal optimist. You get a good run together, and it's not far off hitting those playoffs again.
Well, I mean,
7 points, I think.
I think that's it, and that's the encouragement that I get. Even in the games that we've been losing, we've not been. All right, I'm not trying to make out they've been good performances. The performance against Torquay and Northampton, they weren't good performances, but in both of those games, we could have drawn them. We could have even won them. I mean, it would have been unfair on Torquay had we got back into that game, because I thought they were better than us on the day. But you know, there was a clear penalty there.
Was, yeah.
We've got Lawrence Wilson who can take penalties and score them all day long. That could have been easily a 2-2. It's not like we've been being completely outclassed game after game, and you can't see where the next win's coming from. It's just about little percentage improvement.
I tend not to believe in luck,
No.
you know, because it doesn't exist. But for an outsider, you could say that we've had a bad run of luck. You know, and I've had the fortune the good fortune this season of being a little bit closer to the team, and Jim was doing the work for Morecambe player, and I know Jim's hurting. You know, and he wants to, you know, you said before he'd love to have played another game the next day after Torquay, and you know, the next game can't come soon enough. And we'll get a run together. I know we will. The spirit in the dressing room is just superb.
Just touching on that, Darren, on the spirit thing, I think I worry about a team, whether it's my own team or a team that I'm watching, when I see players arguing with each other, when I see players you know, dissenting with the manager and stuff like that. We've not had a lot of that. I mean, the Andy Parish substitution aside, and I could see why he was upset for that. In the end, I thought positionally it made us stronger, but I thought Andy was a bit unlucky. I think that'll be solved and that'll be over with. We're not seeing players argue. I don't see a team on the pitch that doesn't want to give 100%. I think the effort is there right even through the bad performances. That encourages me. What about you?
I've got absolutely no doubt about team spirit whatsoever. They all work hard for the manager, and they all know that the manager works hard for them. It's a mutual thing. We've got two guys in Jim and Ken who probably work harder than anybody else in the league. Probably, you know, the amount of games they watch when they're not here, the amount of preparation that's being put in. From a team togetherness point of view, from training to, you know, all the psychology that's a part of it, everything's absolutely right. I just think that when we hit this bad run, and you know, let's not panic. We've won 9, drawn 9, lost 9. Even though it's 999, it's not time to phone the emergency services. Just absolutely, yeah. We're not in an emergency. Like you say, we're within striking distance of playoffs. We'd have to lose 5 on the spin to get anywhere close to the other end. So we're not even thinking about that. For me, it's been all about the players just being a little bit trying to make too sure of what they were doing. You know, the passive a little bit too cautious, not brave enough in possession, and some of that is about confidence, and some of it's also about the fact that, you know, we've had some sides that have come here and they've gone, hey, they've demolished Crawley 6-0. Let's get in their faces.
Don't forget that was a very poor Crawley side.
Well, yeah,
because they were depleted, and I think that perhaps more than anything was one of the reasons why the fans' expectations were sky high. Because that was not. I mean, like Steve Evans said, that could have been 10.
Yeah, could have easily been 10.
You know, but that was a very understrength Crawley side. 2 points. That point about people coming off and arguing, I don't mind that. I like that. I like to see a player really furious at being taken off, because it shows he cares. What bothered me was last year people just didn't see. Sometimes people didn't seem to care whether they were there or not. And I can't say that, even though we've had some poor results, the effort is there. I think we've been very unfortunate with luck. But having said that, the team spirit is far better than it was last year. The position in the league is far better. We're not under threat of relegation. I think both strikers two of the strikers have been unlucky that they've hit a poor run of form
at the same time.
And I think that's the luck will change. You can't go. I don't think you'll go through the whole season having the luck you've had for the last 3 months. I think it will change and swing back, because that's the nature of football.